Good morning once again, and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, here on Dominion Television. Today we'll take a closer look at a fiery subject that stirred national debate. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has launched a scathing attack on Nigeria's judiciary, describing it as a cause of corruption. His remarks not only questions the integrity of the judicial arm, but also reopen long-standing conversation about democracy, accountability, and the credibility of our institutions. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for joining us. The judiciary is often referred to as the last hope of the common man. But in Nigeria, that hope has been repeatedly tested. Since independence, the courts have been central to both justice and politics, arbitrating election disputes, shaping constitutional order, and checking excesses of power. From the early days of the First Republic through the military regimes and into the Fourth Republic, the judiciary has played defining roles, sometimes upholding the law with courage, other times accused of compromise. Past leaders, including Obasanjo himself, have had complicated relationships with the bench. Under his administration, landmark electoral disputes and constitutional reforms tested the judiciary's resilience. Now, years later, his words cast a harsh light on the very system that is meant to safeguard democracy. What does this mean for Nigeria's justice system today? And how much has really changed or failed to change over decades? All right, good morning once again. Good to have you on this show. Thank you for staying tuned. Link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast. And on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel at Dominion Broadcast. And of course, watch us live too on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. I won't be doing this alone this morning. I have with me in the studio Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, with whom we'll be making sense of the recent attack on the judiciary by the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, two-time president, let me put it that way, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Samson. Good morning to you, and good morning to you via at home. For you, thank you for having me here today.
Well, the former president released a new book, and let me take notable allegations from this new book he released. Obasanjo describes a scene during a visit to a northern state where a governor pointed out 6 duplexes allegedly constructed by a judge using proceeds from chairing election tribunals, implying financial impropriety by judicial officers. He condemns the commercialization of justice, warning that when justice can be purchased, societal stability deteriorates into despair and anarchy. On electoral integrity, the book takes aim at INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, accusing him of subverting the electoral will of Nigerians and elevating his own will over the will of the people, and by extension, enabling compromised judges to override legitimate outcomes. Also, Obasanjo further alleges that former President Muhammadu Buhari colluded with judges during election petitions, securing favorable judgments through inducements and political patronage. Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, when we talk about the justice system, do you think former President Olusegun Obasanjo's remark about the justice system in the country, is it accurate or is it fair enough?
Thank you very much. What I'm going to say is that what is said in that book is a fact. No dispute about it. We all know what is going on in Nigeria. Every institution has been riddled with corruption and impunity. And it's so sad because when we have to do it, we have to x-ray the person of Obasanjo himself, his integrity, and what he has done to make a mark in this country need to be x-rayed when we are talking about the judiciary and the INEC. But first, we have to talk about the message before we talk about the messenger. Now, when we are talking about the judiciary, this has been the problem for so long because the power they wielded and the impunity in judiciary system just give them the power to do anything they want. And in this country, who Obasanjo accuses? What has Obasanjo done when he was in charge? What had he done about impunity and corruption in judiciary? He has never done anything better. He has not been fair He has not fared well. Even during his regime, he brazenly refused any court judgment that not in his favor. He's not going to abide by any court judgment. That's for you to know that the person of Obasanjo saying this, it's just like a fallacy, because he likes to be always in the eyes of the press to generate controversy all the time. And we knew what happened during the time of Buhari. Buhari has been known to be the fighter of corruption right from his days. And he doesn't joke. You are going to see this slide. He doesn't acquire any wealth like Obasanjo. During Obasanjo, after even Obasanjo regime left the office, we heard that his farm, Nigeria is paying the burden of salary to his staff in Obasanjo farm. It was Buhari that stopped it. And during the time of Buhari, we knew about 6 judges who were raided by DSS. Because when he came, he pleaded with them. He went to one of their, I don't know what they held, probably by NBA then. And he pleaded with them that to cooperate with him to stop the corruption in judiciary. So justice can be dispensed in a very good manner to be fair to Nigeria. And they refuses. And when those people house were, the judge's house was raided, former justice of the Federation, Onye, was part of it. It was Wike that escaped him, because it's Wike that went to his house that refused DSS to raid his house, and he whisked him away. At the end of the day, when Onye got to become a chief justice of Nigeria, we knew what he wanted to do, and how he was arrested, how he was even sitting on the chair of NJC. He doesn't do anything better. Before he was disposed of from the particular chair he had as a chief justice of Nigeria, and we knew how the whistleblower exposes all his assets. Since then, he has never been prosecuted. That's a sad part of it.
Obasanjo took a swipe at former President Muhammadu Buhari, the late President Muhammadu Buhari, saying he was also complicit, that he bought judgments, favorable judgments from the courts.
Which judgment? It was during his time that the entire APC of Sanfora were being disposed, and PDP were replaced. It's there. If he ought to have bought the judiciary, not entire APC candidate that has already won election can be just disposed of. It was during the time of Obasanjo and Muhammadu Buhari that we lost Bayelsa.
Doediri.
These are the very good example. And during the time of Obasanjo, even when the former governor of Odo State, Dr. What's it called? Labour Party member, Labour Party
Mimiko,
Olusegun Mimiko, was in PDP. He was told to be corrupt by Obasanjo, and Obasanjo said the party ticket must not be given to him. He must not run. And he went to court and he challenged Obasanjo, and the court said he has the right to be voted for. When that ticket was refused for him from PDP, he went to Labour Party. So also, it was during the time of Obasanjo that corruption was embedded in all he uses the EFCC as an apparatus that was created to undermine people. Not to talk about, when we are during the time of Obasanjo, there is no democracy. There is autocracy entirely.
But he was democratically elected as president.
He was a democrat.
That's a bold claim to say it was autocracy.
Does he act as a Democrat? That is the question. It was during his own time that systematically he disposed a governor of Oyo State with illegal constituted House of Assembly member that are not even up to 2/3.
Senator Rashidi Adewale Ladoja was impeached on the floor of the House.
By who? By talks. This is what you know. And the police were looking elsewhere. They didn't even protect the sanctity of House of Assembly of Oyo State. Do you remember what happened in Bayelsa State? Goodluck Jonathan was held against his will to become the governor of the state. And all the legislative members who refuses to cooperate with Obasanjo were whisked to Abuja. That's for you to know that. And Obasanjo is an authoritarian. We all knew this. That is when we explained in. We knew that we are having problem with our judiciary. And our judiciary is not doing well enough. The NJC that's supposed to be able to be appointing the judges, it was supposed to be promoting them, and it was supposed to be disciplining them, has never been fair.
He claimed that the judicial arm of government has been commercialized.
No doubt about it.
And what does that speak of? What does that say about the country Nigeria, even outside Nigeria?
It is sad. I will not tell you that this is only happening in Nigeria. But what step are we take to combat this? Muhammadu Buhari, that he mentioned in his book, was the only government that tackled all this judiciary. And when he did it, it was tribalized. It was the tribality of being a tribalist was there, because they were made to understand that how many Hausas were being held during the time of the raid. We just saw one, and we saw a lot of people from the east, probably about 4 or 5. The Yoruba, Adeni, that was held as well, has never been prosecuted. The only prosecuted judge in Nigeria was Mary Ogbonmobia or something like that. She was the only judge that has been dismissed. And after it was dismissed, NJC now reverted back to retirement with full benefit. For you to know that it is unfair what is happening in judiciary, because you can see the impunity system. And we have to, Nigeria has to come together by not being trying to tribalize things, just telling, or you are going to see all the social media agog that probably is only the section of Nigeria they are being prosecuted because they want to expunge them from the judiciary. And it shouldn't be like that.
Honorable Molaja, are you one of those who believe that the judiciary arm of government is an extension of the executive?
It's not. I don't believe that, because we have seen a lot of...
But is the judiciary independent?
Judiciary are independent. They are independent arm of government, which I know.
In Nigeria, as we speak.
That is why their budget has been separate from the government. They make sure that any budget of judiciary should not be the prerogative power of the governor right now. That is why you see the separation. And with that, it is among themselves that they need to be disciplining the errant officers. NJC was set up for a purpose. To do what? To appoint, promote, and discipline. How many times has NJC lived up to their expectation in disciplining their errant members? Even you are talking about the lawyers as well. Our NBA are not doing enough. We have seen a lot of corrupt lawyers who are not doing enough. What are they doing to sanction it? What about even all the bodies, when you are talking about the medical, when you are talking about, when you get to a developed world, a lot of errant members that does wrong are going to be sanctions. And they might be thrown out of the profession for life.
Now, there are claims that the money bags, the politicians, they sometimes take advantage of the fact that they have the money and then override the structure, just like you had in the NJC, that one way or the other they have influence. If they probably they bought their way into it, or maybe through the fact that at one point or the other they were able to nominate someone who eventually rose through the rank and becomes a mainstay in the system. But then the question is, how do we stop the influence of the political elite from actually taking full control of the justice system?
I think when you always talk about money bagging politicians. The politicians are not that rich. You have a lot of rich people who are in the society who can be able to buy their justice at any point in time. It happened here in Nigeria. It happened there in the United States of America as well. But what makes United States of America different is that the government always have a kind of sting operation. And that is why the media houses, when you are talking about the radio, when you are talking about the televisions, are there for all. they can be able to spill all this. We are being challenged. They can be able to tell big stories. And when the big story is at the domain of the people, we are there to be able to monitor what is going on. Now, that is why we have, I said, we have NJC. These bodies should not, nobody can have the power to buy this body. They are there to be able to checkmate the kind of an errand members who misbehaved. That is the way they can expunge all the bad elements in their society, in their midst. They must live up to reputation. It is easy. We have so many judges that can be bought. But by the time you use 2, 3, 4 as a scapegoat, others are going to come into, they are going to align with what the tenet of judiciary is all about. So money bags is everywhere. Everybody has their prices. But what do you do to sanction them? We see in the police, when you see an errand police officer being derobed from the glare of the world, they will just sanction him and throw him out of the force. And he's going to be left to the judiciary to do discipline there. Any errand ones, whether they are corrupt, whether they kill, anything they don't do, this is what they do. The NJC must live to their expectation and throw all the bad elements among their midst into the boss. So Nigeria will now have, they are going to trust the system, but now it is hard to trust the judicial system.
Now, in his book, Obasanjo also criticized INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu for subverting the will of Nigerians. So how much of Nigeria's electoral challenges stem from INEC versus the judiciary?
Now, when he talks about INEC, I'm so intrigued and I find it so funny because we are having better. Our judiciary, our INEC system.
Going back in history, we used to have so many past INEC officials, and Morisiwu is one of them. Professor Morisiwu, at the time, he was INEC chairman under the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo. And under his watch, so many atrocities were said to have been committed when we talk about electoral malpractices in the country. Now, coming to put this side by side, in juxtaposition of what the president is saying, that Mahmoud Yakubu is corrupt. If he is corrupt, what happened to Morisiwu?
Thank you very much. I will talk about all of them. Even we have to talk about the body INEC. Are they getting better? Yeah, they are getting better. Because we have seen a lot in this country. We knew that the only way you can be able to catch criminals, the only way you can be able to make sanity in the system is for a lot of things to be digitalized. And this is what we are doing. Now, this started from Obasanjo regime when you are talking about digitalization, but it doesn't do it. We did capturing during 2006, but he threw it in the bin because he knew what he wanted to do in 2007. He never make it to be in realization. That is why I have been in the polling unit whereby I've seen a lot of cutlass, gadgets. I've seen guns by thugs and criminals who came to steal all the ballot paper and boxes. I've seen a situation that where I was, the criminals are thumping ballot paper and boxes. But it's not now. We have gone far beyond the archaic system. And we have been generalizing a lot of things which make INEC not to be prone into a kind of dispute. But a lot of dispute is still being caused by politicians. No doubt about it. Why? We have seen a situation whereby the law that is going to be guiding INEC was removed from our constitution. And it was separately brought to be an electoral act that can change at a point in time. And that is why we are enjoying this. So coming to Obasanjo, Papa Obasanjo has done a lot of ills to democracy in this country. And he was not even part of those people that brought democracy in the first instance. He has never campaigned for it and he enjoyed it. Because people that die for the cause of bringing democracy to this country are not even the beneficiary. Now, let's talk about 2007 election. that bought late Musa Yar'Adua. He knew that Musa Yar'Adua was sick. He knew it is going to be a bad investment to Nigeria, and he fostered his will on Nigeria. He is always taking us for a ride. And when Musa Yar'Adua came into office, first thing he said that he knew the election that brought him into the office is rigged. And that is why he set Waste panel of inquiry to know how electoral system can be more fortified and synthesized. And Waste did it. And over time, we have been enjoying this system. So when he criticized this, I think it's pain. Obasanjo is pain because all his thought doesn't come to realization. Okay, and it's pain.
Let's talk about the evolution of the electoral malpractices we have had in the history of Nigeria. We went from what we call ballot stuffing, where there will be mass thumbprinting and by some people and then stuffed into the ballot box, into ballot snatching. And then we graduated from that into vote buying, which is what we currently see in the country now. Now, putting all these things side by side, would you still say that even at an era where people are now free to buy votes, because it's more or less like what we have been saying over and over again, have we had it better now? And then also, I want to talk about Atairu Jega, and when he left, Mahmoud Yakubu came on board. Would you say Mahmoud Yakubu was a step up from Atairu Jega, or it remained the same, or maybe a step down a little bit for INEC?
I wouldn't say Mahmoud Yakubu stayed down, because during his own time, a lot of things has been introduced. Unlike the time of Jega, it was during his own time where we have seen a lot of even during the time of Jega, there are some loopholes that a lot of politicians uses to rig election, because then we saw a lot of inflated figures from the southeast, whereby we don't even know probably they are so massive like that. But during the time of Yakub, a lot of it has reduces. Before in Anambra State, you are going to see votes that are up to about 800,000 or 900,000. In a place like Delta State, you can see 1.something million. But now it has reduced to even less than 500,000 when you talk about all the political parties coming together. For you to know that it's been well fortified. And when we are talking about vote ban,
is that not as a result of voter apathy that people are not coming out to vote?
It is not about, before it was rigged, because people, inflated people, named that are serious are going to be put into the system. And if about 3 people can vote, they can go to different polling units and vote. That is what they do. Before you know, it was always speculated enough that we see a lot of underage voters. But all those are being the things of the past systematically being erased in the system. For you to know that our electoral system is getting better all the time. Now, talking about Baba Obasanjo, we knew what is for. We knew he always having a particular candidate at a point in time. We knew people has been going to his villa at Ota as a homage. Anybody that doesn't go there, he doesn't respect them. And that is the funny part of it. The man is getting old, and the man has done enough for Nigeria. But this speculation of INEC is not doing enough, judiciary is not doing enough, is what we know. And you are talking about the vote ban. I never knew they have been buying votes in the United States of America until President Trump was, coming to the office. That we saw this billionaire, what is his name, that supported Trump.
Elon
Musk, that was offering money. And what's it called? The one authority in the United States were warning him that what he was doing is wrong. That is the amount of vote ban. He was telling people to go and register, that anybody that registers is going to give them a particular sum of money. And that is systematical buying of vote, because by the time you are telling them, and those people, you are going to monitor them when they are going for election. That is when I knew that in the history of America, they have been buying vote. But now there is legislation that is against it. But in Nigeria, there is no legislation that is against vote buying. This is what National Assembly has to do. And by the time we see how they can be able to find the culprit, we are good to go. But now it is only the EFCC that can arrest those who are buying votes. And the specific fee that are going to, or a kind of fine that can be able to be imposed on those people who are buying votes, are even not explicitly put down to us for us to know. So now to buy vote in Nigeria might be illegal in some way, but since there is no legislation against it, you can still go scot-free when you go to court of law. But I am telling you, we can buy people's thought, but we cannot get follow them to where they are going to have their vote and tell them what to do, because it's always a secret ballot.
So what are the practical steps to be taken by judiciary and the electoral bodies to forestall this kind of crisis?
It is well known. NJC were those in charge of discipline.
Are they powerful enough?
They are powerful, but still, water or no is an example.
Are they being influenced?
They are not being influenced. I think they are just a lame dog who doesn't want to bite at all, because they love themselves and they don't want to look themselves as a bad person. I think that is what is going on.
Well, the election is being won in court these days rather than on the ballot. Because
there is always technicalities. Even you have seen it in United States of America. People that are guilty can be set free. You knew this Mike Johnson, or what is his name, that killed his wife. He won on technicalities. We knew he was the one that killed the wife. But in the court of law, when any presented exhibit is being faulted, you can be knocked out by technicalities. So in the court of law, look at Zamfara instances. In Zamfara instances, we all knew that you must have primary. And the man in charge didn't have any primary for APC candidate. Technically, it was dismissed. So what happened in Jos? Jos doesn't learn from what Plateau State doesn't learn from what happened in Zamfara. And he paid for it dearly. See what happened in the Bayelsa State. The deputy governor have various names, which is criminal. So all these are won on technicalities, and we must respect judiciary for that. But what I hate about judiciary is that they are not being proactive and be able to discipline their member the way they're supposed to be disciplined. If they can be able to make a lot of them to be escaped, I've never seen a judge that went to prison and they are throwing people to prison all the time. It's wrong.
Okay, do you see Obasanjo's new book as a wake-up call to forestall this crisis in the country?
He cannot.
Just another book.
It's just another book, and when it's full of controversy, I'm telling you, people are going to buy it because people like controversy, and Obasanjo is the father of controversy, and he has been enjoying himself for a very long time.
All right, Honorable Molaji Adeoye, thank you for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
We
do hope that next time we call you, you'll be here.
No problem. I've always been present.
Right.
Despite the fact that
Thank
no
you.
matter how difficult it is, I will be here.
Right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The questions Obasanjo raises cuts deep. Can democracy truly thrive if its judiciary is weakened by corruption and compromise? Or are his words a reflection of frustrations long felt by everyday Nigerians seeking justice? As we reflect on the lessons of history and the path ahead, one thing is clear: the integrity of the courts remain at the heart of Nigeria's democratic survival. This has been the big story on Daybreak Live. Thought-provoking, timely, critical to the future of our nation. Stay with us. More conversations still ahead. Samson Balogun is my name. Keep it locked on the dial. We'll be back.